Everyone loves a good doctor story, but what if I told you Dr. Mike didn't just go viral? He built a content empire while most creators were still figuring out thumbnails. You've seen the views, the interviews, the viral hits, but the real story, well, that is more strategic and more controversial than you might first think. Believe it or not, he started with AB. 2015 BuzzFeed features him. People call him the sexiest doctor alive. But Dr. Mike didn't stay in the shallow end. He launched a YouTube channel in 2016, not to pose, but actually to educate. See, he was still a full-time resident, shooting videos between shifts. Most people ride virality into irrelevance at this point, but he used fame as a launch pad and built a consistent cadence. Weekly uploads, science-first stories, and sharp visuals. Dr. Mike built out content pillars. He wrapped medicine into memes, skits, reaction videos, myth debunks, and pop culture tie-ins. But here's the twist. He didn't just post for clicks, he engineered trust. I mean, sitting down with Fauci and the US Surgeon General wasn't influencer clout, it was positioning. Therefore, when misinformation hit hard during COVID, people didn't go to the news, they came to him. By this point, he'd built a flywheel. TikTok for hooks, YouTube for depth, Instagram for personal storytelling. He called out fake doctors, broke down science simply, and became a reliable bridge between academia and the internet. So now let's look at what he capitalized on in terms of the money that most creators actually miss. Let's talk revenue. Whilst it's difficult to dictate exactly what Dr. Mike is making through YouTube ad revenue, it's safe to say he could be making upwards of $500,000 a month. In addition to this, of course, comes things like brand deals and sponsorships, where he could be charging in the region of 6 figures just for an integration. Because remember, he's not just earning on views, he's monetizing trust. And here's the killer insight. I mean, 82% of his traffic comes from older videos. He isn't chasing headlines, he's actually building digital assets, evergreen content with exponential return for the future. Therefore, he prints revenue on autopilot while other creators are hustling for the next trend. Now, next up in his journey came crisis and then another comeback. In 2020, a party photo, no mask, the internet turns. But instead of ghosting or defending himself, he owned it, apologized, and took action. Raised $91,000 for scholarships, donated $70K to St. Jude, and sent N95 masks to hospitals. Thus, in doing so, his reputation didn't die. If anything, it matured. He showed accountability in real time. Vulnerability became his moat. But this is the flywheel most creators ignore. While others stayed stuck on one platform, Dr. Mike scaled out. He launched the Checkup podcast. He built a media academy for pros, fought in charity boxing matches, and created a scholarship foundation. But this wasn't a distraction. It was mission-driven diversification. And on July 18th, 2025, he gained 100,000 subscribers in one single day. That's the result of trust-fueled virality. He's not just scaling content, he's actually scaling impact. So let's look at the psychology behind this strategy, because he didn't just get lucky. He understands how humans think. He uses but therefore story structures to drive story arcs. He pairs expert authority with light humor. He mirrors the audience's health concerns with entertaining formats, and he makes science feel aspirational and not clinical. In addition to all of this, and maybe most importantly, he nailed parasocial intimacy. Viewers don't just watch him, they feel as if they know him at this point. So the key takeaway in all of this, Dr. Mike never focused on just going viral. He focused on building a trust engine through ethical branding, layered content strategy, and repeatable systems. Truth is, this is the blueprint for creators who want more than just attention, because he's turned credibility into currency and managed to scale both. The real question here becomes, why aren't more creators doing this? So what if you're not a doctor, not ripped, not verified, not on national television? Well, perfect, because Dr. Mike's success isn't about being a doctor, it's about building transmedia trust at scale. Let's look at that now. First, you borrowed the badge, authority piggybacking. Dr. Mike had the MD and you might not, but here's the unlock. You can still borrow institutional trust, react to peer-reviewed studies, debunk mainstream health myths with clear citations, interview legit experts experts in your niche, or even use as seen in or quote sources to layer the credibility. Pro tip here, even referencing a popular book, study, or figure instantly upgrades your positioning. You don't need the title if you still deliver the truth. Secondly, content with a coat on, the smart casual strategy. See, Dr. Mike never dumbed things down. He made smart content feel cool. That's the smart casual lane. Making serious topics feel with an informal tone, or creating complex ideas wrapped in pop culture. You can take scientific accuracy but deliver it through memes. It's a Trojan horse strategy. He didn't say immune response modulation. He said, here's what your immune system actually wants. When you do that in your space, you become the bridge. Casual tone, expert soul. Next is punching the format ceiling. Most creators plateau because they stay in one format, only talking head videos or only reactions, only trends. Dr. Mike broke that ceiling by layering formats. He did reactions to medical drama, this was relatable, deep dives on trending topics, I guess searchable, personal updates and behind the scenes, which creates some form of intimacy, and of course interviews with authority figures, which is almost like a clout transfer. Each of these formats hits a different part of the trust funnel. Think of formats as instruments. The more you play, the richer the sound. So let's look at next here. Now, I would argue that evergreen is greater than explosive. Basically, the forgotten monetization lane. See, Dr. Mike's traffic didn't peak, it compounded, and it still is. Why? Because he engineered timelessness, how vaccines work, why energy drinks are dangerous, how sleep affects immunity. These are topics that people Google forever. You don't need 1 million views today. You need 1,000 viewers per day forever. And that's how Dr. Mike makes 100K plus from old videos, while others are still fighting for the next viral hit. Because he realized that trust is greater than a trend. This is a creator's career move. During COVID, misinformation was everywhere. We talked about that. And Dr. Mike didn't chase the controversy. He actually clarified the confusion. So this is really what that tells us, because attention is the faucet. Trust is the plumbing. If you want brand deals and you want longevity, if you want to sell products, you build a reputation moat. Anyone can post viral content these days. Only a few creators become a reliable source though, and that's what makes you monetization at scale. Now, Dr. Mike created platform architecture. He designed trust as an engine and built a flywheel. If you wanted to map this out, you could look at it between platform and role. Now, this is very loose, but with that said, TikTok generally hooks and virality testing. YouTube, of course, long form, depth, monetization. Instagram, personal storytelling. And with broadcast channels, stories, it's community, right? Podcasts, thought leadership, authority layering. Twitter, of course, now X, idea testing, narrative seeding. You can look at threads in the same way. Each platform wasn't a repurpose, it was a role within the trust ecosystem. And so if you want to scale, you need to decide what is the platform for. Treat them like separate organs, not just copy-paste channels. A big part of all of this, and I talk about this a lot, is seeing the creator, yourself, as the founder. It's the shift that most people are missing. Because while other creators just collect checks, Dr. Mike is a good example of someone who has built a podcast, a media academy, a foundation, brand licensing. He moved from influencer to infrastructure. And so here's the principle. Influencers wait to get paid, while founders create things worth paying for. It's the long game. What service, tool, or program could you build off your content? Even a $49 product to 2% of your audience becomes leverage. So the real takeaway here is be the educator entertainer, the edutainer, if you will. Dr. Mike mastered this rare hybrid. He was the educator when it was bringing real insight, the entertainer in making it digestible, and almost the empathizer by feeling like a friend. And for him, that was the creator archetype that has won long term. So whether you're in wellness, tech, finance, relationships, or parenting, ask yourself, am I building content or am I building trust? Because Dr. Mike didn't just create videos. He architected influencers. It's not luck, it's literally a playbook. So then the question becomes, what will your audience trust you for? Because trust is the asset, and if you build it right, you won't just go viral, you'll never be forgotten.